Imagine yourself in this scenario. Hello, thanks a lot for helping us out. We appreciate your time and effort. For this testing, please imagine that you are very much interested in a specific topic regarding India. Now, you are looking for a news article about that topic on this news site. Okay, next. Have you ever visited the Better India News website before? No. What is the one topic that you are most interested in regarding India? So I'll say the National Stock Exchange or the Indian share market. So I'll type Indian share market, or in general the Indian economy. Indian economy. Yeah. Next. Click start, then read the instructions aloud before responding. So start. Please look around the home page and talk about what you think the site is about. What can you do here? What is it for? Don't click anything yet. Okay. So I'll see, okay, the Better India Home Shop, Videos Partners, CSR Corner, Impact Experts, and I see Editor's Pick, the untold story of the fighter pilot who almost became the first Indian in space. So, okay, this I guess is Rakesh Sharma, and okay, so this is I guess some news clippings and episode 6 giving life a chance. MG Changemaker driving India into future, and some tech stuff here. And okay, that was interesting. IIT Delhi's new anti-venom cuts cost from rupees 500 to rupees 70, spells boon for Kerala. Amazing. So this is, I guess this is something like an article website where you get lots of articles, not just news, but lots of articles, I guess. Okay, but till now I've seen only news articles. Okay, oh, okay, almost like news articles. There's some tourism, I guess. No, not tourism. Okay, and mostly articles, and some are mostly news articles, but some articles are there which feign interest, like which gain your interest. And yeah, so this I think is, and I guess this shop feature there, so maybe we can shop some things. So this is mostly looks like filled with news articles, but a website with lots of articles. So I'll go next. Imagine that it is a bright Monday morning and you would like to start the week on a positive note. On the website, find the most recent news article, not audio or video, about your topic of interest. Spend no more than 5 minutes looking. Please read out the title, author, and date of publishing of the article. So, my interest being in the Indian economy and the whole thing about the stock markets. So, I'll try and find stuff like that. Cars and bikes to get costlier from September 1. So yeah, this is here's why and how much more you'll have to pay. So this is a pretty interesting topic. Another one being, want to retain the number of your old car? No. Uh, Pune to principal? No. Using internet and rupees 7 lakh from own pocket, Gujarat teacher gives free tuitions to poor kids. Fridge to keep food fresh. Not much about Indian economy or the share markets as such. Will banks be closed for first 5 days in September? Here's what you should know. Nope. And unsung pioneers? Nope. Inflation rising. Did demonetization work? 10 key points from RBI 2018 report. So this is an interesting article for me. It is by Rinchen Nobu Wangchuk, and the report is from August 30, 2018. And yep, so aside from everything else dominating the news cycle, one very significant development over the past week was the publication of RBI's annual report 2017-18. Among other things, the report offered some long-awaited insights into demonetization, growth, and credit forecast for both the previous and current financial year and the state of RBI's finances. Here are 10 major takeaways from the report. The RBI has completed counting the all the okay. The RBI has completed counting the all the some grammar mistake there. The RBI has completed counting all the demonetized currency notes that have come back into the system, that have come back into the system. Of the rupees 15.41 lakh crore worth of old rupees 500 and rupees 1000 notes that were in circulation before November 8, 2016, rupees 15.31 lakh crore or 99.3% has came back into the system. Approximately rupees 10,000 crores worth of old notes have not been returned. Whether the income tax department will now process several large deposits that have been flagged for investigation and successfully prosecute those who have deposited black money remains to be seen. The report stated that there was a spike in number of counterfeit rupees 50, the new version, rupees 500, the new version, and rupees 2000 notes. Having said that, the overall number of fake currency notes detected in the system dropped from 7,62,072 pieces in 2016-17 to 5,22,783 pieces in 17-18. Going by the absolute value, the number of counterfeit notes was approximately rupees 23 crore, half of what was discovered the previous year. So that's good news. Demonetization has not pushed the common citizen away from cash-based transaction. Although household financial savings as a percentage of gross national disposable income (GNDI) rose from 9.1% in 2016-17 to 11.1% in 17-18, the highest in at least the last 7 years, according to Live Mint. Most of it was in cash. This is 2.5 times the average of the 5 years before demonetization, says this Economic Times editorial. So even the spike in household savings are just provisional figures. Nonetheless, digital payments have grown exponentially both in terms of value and volume, definitely, and of transactions. Although these figures are a touch lower than what we saw for 16-17, it's still markedly higher than the growth witnessed across previous two financial years. The center received rupees 50,000 crores as dividend from the RBI in 17-18. As per the July report, the central bank allocated 14,190 crore as part of its contingency fund in the event of any risk of shocks emanating from the financial system. While the center wants more from the RBI and complains about the money allocated to the contingency fund, Money Control reports contingency and assets development funds are just 7% of the RBI's balance sheet compared to 9.2% in 2014. After the devastating PNB scam earlier this year, the value of fraudulent transactions has spiked to rupees 41,000 crores in last financial year. The number of cases has also risen from a 10-year average of 4,500 to 5,835. In 2017-18, government-owned banks accounts for 93% of all frauds in banking systems. That's massive. The bad loan problem will persist and possibly get worse before we see any light at the end of the tunnel. Rupees 12 of every rupees 100 lent by Indian banks turned back. And again, by other estimate, these banks could add a further 1.7 lakh crore of bank loans into the system. Having said that, the report claims currency in circulation surpassed its pre-demonetization level, while credit growth revived by double digits from a historic low in the previous year. It expects a further rise in credit growth considering the relative success of insolvency bankruptcy code, a tool the government has used to resolve bad loans. GDP growth, according to RBI, is expected to hit 7.4%, driven by investments, consumptions, and exports. India will have to contend with global headwinds like global trade wars, the United States Federal Reserve Bank decision to raise interest rates, rising geopolitical tension in the Asian continent, and crude oil prices. With India being a net energy importer, the changing demand-supply dynamics in the international crude oil market may impact heavily on India's trade deficit, the RBI said. There are risks of raising inflation as well, according to the RBI report. On the whole, headline inflation is projected at 4.6% in quarter 2 of 18-19, 4.8% in H2, and 5% in quarter 1 of 2019-20, including the HRA impact for central government employees with risk evenly balanced. In the said report. And the last point being, the RBI expects foreign direct investment to increase in the foreseeable future alongside greater expenditure in infrastructure projects, roads, rail, and ports. Key fiscal risks this current financial year, however, are expected to emanate from the states, with many of them going in for elections. Okay, Announcements for massive farm loans waivers and rising expenditures on government salaries may affect budget outlay, and thus it's key for the states to raise their own revenues. Did you complete the task successfully? I'm sure I completed the entire task successfully. Yeah, I did it successfully. The task difficulty was almost very easy because I just had to find an article of my liking, which I did. Imagine that you have been invited to make a presentation on the best thing that happened in India last year. In connection with the topic of your interest, find the top news articles, not audio or video, about your topic of interest in year 2017. Spend no more than 5 minutes looking. Please read out the title, author, and date of publishing of the article. So I have to find something like I have to imagine that I have been invited to make a presentation on the best thing that happened in India last year, and I have to find the top news articles of my interest. So again, I'll just go and I'll try to navigate through it. I'll go to home and I'll try to pick something from 2017, like something good that happened in 2017. So I guess there should be some sort of search thing going on here. Okay, so here's the search thing. So I'll just type in 2017 and see what result it pops up. The amazing impact we created in 2017, all thanks to you. CAT 2017, when the 100 percentilers weren't just men in engineering. 5 most interesting private member bills of 2017. One must-watch movie that definitely broke the mold in 2017. So, I have been invited to make a presentation on the best things that happened in India last year in connection with the topic of your interest. So, I'll probably see these private member bills and I'll try and find something else as well till the time this website loads. I'll just check this. I'll quickly glance over it. Okay. 2 days of paid menstrual leave each month, discriminalization and regulation of marijuana and opium, 2 time zones in the country, prohibition on distribution, sale, and advertisement of online games with violent and indecent content, financial assistance to farmers, widows, and dependent family members. Okay, I guess I'll search for something else as well. Everyday heroes we lost. Okay, so I'll try and find Nobel Peace Prize 2017. That was amazing. That was brilliant. Grande Dame of Hindi Literature. Krishna Sopti wins 2017 Janpat Awards. So I'll just go with that. Like the 5 most interesting private member bills of 2017. I'll go with that. Not now. So it's titled 5 most interesting private member bills of 2017 and it's written by Lakshmi Priya S on January 4th, 2018. So I'll go and yeah. So this one is pretty interesting. 2 days of paid menstrual leave each month. Like I'm all go for it. So it's nice. Decriminalization and regulation of marijuana and opium. It's I guess it's okay, but again it'll be very difficult to regulate the supply of marijuana and opium, although it's not as harmful as it is cited to be. But again it will be very difficult for a growing economy as of India and so much of tax paying deficit. So in a bid to tackle the war on drugs, an MP from Patiala, Dr. Dharamveer Gandhi, has proposed for the legalization of traditional intoxicants like marijuana and opium. If passed, the bill would bring a landmark change in the country. which still abides by Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substances (NDPS) Act of 1985, making the possession or use of drugs a punishable offense. Two time zones in the country. That's again interesting. Being geographically vast, the need of separate time zones in India has been a topic of debate for a very long time. Compared to the rest of the country, it's the Northeast that suffers the most regarding daylight savings and work efficiencies. Owing to a much earlier sunrise to attain an equitable, inclusive, and progressive administration across the country, Congress MP Gaurav Gogoi from Assam took the lead and presented the bill for establishing two time zones in the winter session. That's nice. Prohibition on distribution, sale, and advertisement of online games with violent and indecent content. From the time gaming culture entered into the public sphere, there have been heated debates across the globe upon how these have played a role in the increase of violent behavior in younger generation. With games becoming more and more accessible on the internet, the concern further extends to the suggestive and pornographic content being generated in them, which profoundly influences the thought process of young children. Definitely, in to order to screen through such content, Shrikant Eknath Shinde, a Shiv Sena MP from Kalyan constituency, has put forth a bill seeking prohibition on distribution, sale, and advertisement of online games in India. Okay step, I guess, but there's always like too much that you can do. This is what I'm interested in: financial assistance to farmers, widows, and dependent family members. So, farmer suicides have been one of the most burning issues in the country, and here doesn't seem to be any end to it. And there doesn't seem to be any end to it. The burden of survival only carries forward to the deceased wife or dependent family members, who are left to fend for themselves with little or no help from the state. Congress MP Supriya Sule presented a legislative proposal in the winter that would entail the government to provide financial assistance to widows and dependent family members of the farmers who took their lives. The bill, if passed, will bring respite to countless women, children across the country. I definitely would. So yeah, I probably take up these five bills and would look up to some similar bills for my presentation. Okay, please tell us, what do you think about this website's menu navigation? Also explain out loud why you think so. So I guess there's not much of a menu here. It's more like you just go to the website and there are a list of articles, you just scroll through them and you just see them. So there's not much of a menu, and I just see a search bar here, which is sort of functional, not very good. So yeah, that's it. There's nothing such as menu. Like there could be something like three bars here, which would divide articles into sections, which would be much greater or much better. Like for example, I'll just search uh, or I'll just search inflation. Inflation. So I guess there should be something. Okay, inflation rising, and yeah. So this search is pretty good, but it could definitely use a menu, because I don't really see a menu. Like really see a menu. There's just this bar upside which has the options of home, shop, videos, partners, and yeah, CSR corner. I don't know what that mean. Impact and experts. And what about search? What do you think about the website search function? Please also explain out loud why you think so. So website search function is pretty amazing. Like it still shows my last search, which is good, and I just have to type things and I'll get it. So I'll just type cash, and I guess within few times, okay, no cash will be refilled in ATMs after 9 p.m. from 2019. So yeah, like if I type some keywords, I guess related news articles. That's amazing. That's pretty amazing. So that's about it. The search function is very good, although I would have preferred one more search bar around here, because I see lots of space here. A search bar with this particular search icon and thing. This complete thing could have been fitted here. And there's obviously the share feature, which is good, which is amazing. On a scale of 1 to 11, how likely or not likely are you to recommend this website to a friend, family, or colleague? I am extremely not not extremely, but I'm almost kind of not likely to recommend. It's in the middle. I'll recommend it to some of my friends or colleagues who are article buffs, But to friend or family, I guess there are easier websites to or apps to navigate. Any final thoughts? So my final thoughts are the website is good. The article and content is it's very good, but the website can go along with a lot of tweaking, like a dedicated menu with dedicated sections, as in which articles comes under which sections an article comes. If an article comes under multiple sections, so like that, and a search based on date, a search based on keywords, and stuff like that. So yeah, it could help. It could use a lot of it could use a lot of improvement.